Gives to Autry, right side, cuts back left, 30, 35, 40 in open field, the 45, the 50, there he goes, the 35, the 30, angling right, he's at the 15, the 10, the 5, into the end zone, yes it is, touchdown, Autry takes it all the way.
Hi everybody and welcome to the Gary Barnett Show, featuring the head football coach of the Northwestern Wildcats. I'm Dave Eanet. The Wildcats 5-1, off to their best start since 1962, alone atop the Big Ten with a record of 3-0 and ranked 11th in the nation after a 27-17 victory on Saturday at Minnesota. And Coach, you said something after the game that I think might have surprised some people. You said that was as big a victory as you've had at Northwestern.
Well, I believe that. I believe coming off of a tough game that we had in Ann Arbor, and a game that we were not picked to win, and yet we hung in there and found a way to win that game. There was a lot of hoopla around our team and our program, and a lot of potential distractions. And our players handled it, and our coaches handled all that well. And then we went into back-to-back away games and into a really hostile environment that is really uncomfortable, because you don't play in a dome except maybe once every 2 years. And homecoming and what this game meant to Minnesota, all those things stacked up against us. And then on top of that, to fall behind 14-3. I think the way our kids came back and won that game, and the way our coaches handled it, was as big a thing that's happened to us since we've been here.
Gary, the national media have descended on you to try to get a perspective on this team, and I know to this point you've been reluctant, but now you're halfway through the season. Is it still too early to come to the conclusion that this is a pretty good football team?
Dave, I think this is a team that has played pretty well when it's needed to play well, and under some very adverse situations. I think now we'll find out how good a team we really are as we get into the meat of the schedule. We've only played half of the season, and it's like coming in at halftime. If you only play half a game, then you're not going to win. And so I'm saving my judgment until I see us get into the second half of this season and see how we come out with a second half plan.
I would think you'll get some indications again this Saturday. We'll talk more about it as the program goes along, but the Wisconsin Badgers homecoming at Dyke Stadium, this is going to be a big one.
Huge, absolutely huge, and for both programs. And the people that are going to get to see this game are going to see a heck of a football game.
Well, we're going to look at what was a heck of a football game on Saturday night as the Wildcats beat the Golden Gophers, and we'll take a look at the first half action in a moment.
Tutu Atwell was pushing him from behind. Here's Darkins hit in the backfield and snowed under back at the 35-yard line.
Welcome back to the Gary Barnett Show. The Wildcats went into the Metrodome in Minneapolis to face the Golden Gophers, and Coach, what were your main concerns going into the game?
Chris Darkins, for one, and then the entire Minnesota offense and the productivity that they'd been establishing in their league for the first 5 or 6 games. And then we had a long wait. Dave, we play a night game like that, you sit around in a hotel for 3 hours and waiting to play. And I sort of had a feeling that things could go the way they went before that game started, and so I sort of had prepared myself to handle that, or try to hold my poise and composure as much as possible. But I just felt like that hostile environment and the whole situation was going to be a tough go for our guys.
Well, let's take a look at the first half action, the Wildcats and the Golden Gophers. Second series of the game for the Wildcats, Coach, near midfield, and you'll try the deep pass.
This is a ball that Steve throws really well, and this is a great catch by Dwayne Bates, and puts us down into scoring position. And we're going to line up and try to throw the ball in the end zone. Dave Beasley gets knocked off his route right here, and Steve puts it out there. And this really could be an interference call, but it wasn't, and we're forced to kick a field goal. So Sam comes in and puts it through the uprights, and we take a 3-0 lead.
12th in a row for Balanzizzi from 20 yards out, and it's 3-0. Now Minnesota on offense, Corey Sauter to Johnny Woodson.
Well, he splits Hudefa and Pat Fitzgerald there. Really, normally that's an easy tackle, but he runs right through them, and now they go into scoring position. They throw a play-action pass on us here. Matt Rice really puts a hit on this quarterback. They still get a touchdown out. We hit this quarterback 16 different times Saturday.
Now here's a big play by Minnesota that will put them in scoring position again with you guys in punt formation.
Well, this was just an error on our part as coaches, and William Bennett should call timeout if that occurs, but we didn't get it done, and now we put our defense in a bad position, and Eric Collier comes up and puts a heck of a hit on Chris Darkins, but he still gets it in the end zone, and now we're down.
And now you're on the way back, though, with this play.
Well, this is a tremendous punt. Coach Wacker said this is the highest punt that he's seen kicked in that building. Chris Martin comes up with a recovery for his second straight recovery in 2 weeks off of a dropped punt.
You have the ball at the 18-yard line on the way in now. They pass into the end zone, and it looked like a touchdown.
Well, we thought it was a touchdown. We thought he had possession when his foot comes down, but that's a tough call for the official, and I guess when you're away from home, you expect those to happen.
Another field goal by Balanzizzi, and now the Gophers on offense. Chris Darkins again, but he fumbles. Good play by William Bennett there to strip the ball.
Williams strips it, and Eric Collier comes up with it, and Steve comes back and throws a nice throw here to Darren Drexler, and we're going to get ourselves in good position here real fast.
This will help set up a run by Darnell Autry, the first of his 3 touchdowns.
Well, this is nice block by Dwayne Bates and Matt Hartle and Dave Beasley on this play, and we call that a 3-piece suit run.
Now you're going to go for 2 here, Coach, down by 2.
This is a great play by Steve. He knows just where to go with the ball, and Dwayne's right where he should be, and he's really his third outlet there, but he gets to him, and now this ties the game with that 2-point conversion.
14-all the score, and we'll see Chris Darkins get dropped for a loss.
Well, that's a great play by Casey Daly, and Casey had a tremendous game, probably the best game he's played since he's been here.
Now, final 2 minutes of the half, Steve Schnurr moving the Wildcats.
This is a nice throw to Dwayne, and Steve takes a shot right here and gets a pinched nerve a little bit, and so we have to bring Chris Hamdorf in, and Chris hits his first pass, but we throw this interception here as we get a little greedy trying to go in. We really need to just take the field goal, but this is a nice play by Rodney Heath, and as a result, we come away without any points at the end of that 2-minute drive.
So for the second week in a row, Coach, you go to the locker room at halftime tied, and given where you'd come from at that point, I would think you have to have felt pretty good about it.
Given that we'd been down by 11 at one point, Dave, I think we were fortunate to be tied, but at the same time there at the end of the first half, we had a chance to get on the board again with a field goal, and we had 2 timeouts left. We were on the 20-yard line. It was 3rd and 4, and when we started that drive, I wanted to get a field goal. We got down there, we got greedy, and decided to throw one in the end zone before we kicked it, and I should have insisted on keeping the ball on the ground and going away with a 3-pointer, but Chris ended up throwing an interception, and we walked away without any points on the board.
Still, the Wildcats were on their way to victory. We'll come back and take a look at the second half after this on the Gary Barnett Show.
Just got it off in time. Sauter wrapped up at the 29-yard line. Tim Sharp blindsided him for a loss of 7 yards.
Welcome back to the Gary Barnett Show. The Wildcats and the Golden Gophers were tied 14-all at halftime. And Gary, what was the mood at the half?
Well, the mood was we knew we were fortunate to be tied there, and our emphasis all week was to try to win this game by 1 point. But and we felt like our defense was in control, and we just need to get our offense on track. We need a couple drives, and we'd be okay. And the kids were calm, and coaches were calm, and we knew that this game now was within reach. We just had to go play hard in the second half.
Well, the offense would get on track in the second half. Let's take a look. 14-all to begin the third quarter. You guys will go on offense first, Gary, and Darnell Autry already with 1 touchdown and on pace for another 100-yard game, gets the second half off to a good start.
Well, this is a little outside zone play that Darnell does a good job of running. We got good blocking there at the point of attack, and we were tied and felt like we had control with our defense. And here you'll see a nice play by Tim Sharp coming in from the backside. It's one of his 2 sacks for the game, and we had a total of 6, Dave, and that's important when you're playing a passing team like that.
Here's another one, Matt Rice.
Yeah, this is Matt Rice on one of his 2 sacks, and again, we were getting good pressure with those 2 guys. this is a great throw and play. It's a big play in this game. It doesn't look like it maybe on this tape, but at the time that was a big play, and Steve did an excellent job getting it into Darnell in that little screen pass.
10-yard gain down to the Minnesota 30, and this will help set you up for another Autry touchdown.
Well, that's a nice job of reading his blocking scheme and getting the end zone. That was a good long drive, and we needed to do that.
21-14, the Wildcats in front in the football game, and now Minnesota on offense.
This is Eric Collier and Tim Scharf on a little screen pass to Darkins, and they wrap him up, and we come back on this drive, and we run a little counter play, and we've been trying to get Darnell to run this up inside. He does, and he's going to break this for a good long run, and he's got that guy's Heath is closing in on him, but Darnell wards him off and gets in the end zone, and that gives us a big lead.
73 yards on that touchdown, and now it's 27-14, and the Golden Gophers have to play comeback.
Well, and this is a throw over the middle that William Bennett almost picks off. We had 2 or 3 that we just almost picked off, and we've got to get some of those as time goes on. And then the ball gets stripped right here from Darnell, and he turns it over, and we let Minnesota right back into the game, and we had a chance to salt it away, and we didn't. And you're going to see a nice throw here, that's a sack by by Matt Rice, and his second one of the day.
That forces them to settle for the field goal there, Mike Chalberg's 47-yarder. And now back on offense, Steve Schnurr with a big pass play to Matt Hartle.
This was huge in this game. It was a scramble play, and Matt followed his rules perfectly, and Steve made a play out of it, and it really helped our situation there.
Last 5 minutes of the game, and your defense was really coming, Gary.
Casey again on pressure, and Casey is really coming on as a pass rusher, and you can see from that example.
Now here they nearly hit a big play.
This was a nice throw, and Eric goes up a little too early, but if they'd have caught that ball, they were going to be right back in that game.
4th down, Chris Martin will come up with another turnover.
This is a key interception here and gives us a chance to really run the clock out, and the ball does get back to Minnesota, but their last play, and they come up short out of bounds.
Final score, Northwestern 27, Minnesota 17. Gary, as you look at the final stats of this game, pretty good balance between your rushing and passing.
Yeah, Dave, and I like the way our defense held Minnesota to 51 yards net rushing, and the fact that we secured 6 sacks in that game and didn't give up a single sack speaks well for our offensive line and for Steve getting rid of the ball. And our total yards, 392 yards, and we had good balance, as you said, 192 to 200. So that's about the way you'd like to do. I think if you can maintain that kind of balance, you're tough to defend.
You also came up with 3 turnovers, scored off of 2 of them. Who are your champions this week?
Champions, David, on defense, we had a tie between Matt Rice and Casey Daly for our defensive line champion, and then Chris Martin with a big interception was our defensive back champion. And on offense, Steve Schnurr with an outstanding game, we thought, was our offensive back champion, and Matt Hartle, redshirt freshman, was our offensive line champion, and then our special teams champion was Paul Janis. He had 7 perfect snaps, and our scout team player of the week was Kawan DeBose, and Kawan helped us a lot with our defense, and then Hassani Steele was our rookie of the week. He's a young man, wide receiver from Glenbard West here in Chicago.
So a great victory for the Wildcats, and a guy who's been a champion for the Wildcats for a long time, senior center Rob Johnson, will join us. We'll also take a look at this Northwestern defense coming up on the Gary Barnett Show. Welcome back, everybody. Well, one of the cornerstones for the Wildcats is their senior center and tri-captain Rob Johnson, who'll be making his 40th consecutive start in the middle of that offensive line for the Wildcats on Saturday against Wisconsin. And Rob, if you were to script your senior year, could you have written a better script?
No, I couldn't. This is just a dream come true for us, as a whole team, especially the senior class that has gone through so much here. We've seen the basement, so to say, and now we're seeing the pinnacle of our success.
What's the biggest difference you've seen since you first came in here as a freshman?
The biggest difference is probably there's 2, talent and attitude. We've got more talent here I've ever seen. I mean, you're seeing it on the field now. I think Coach Barnett's first big-time recruiting class that he had is on the defense is finally coming through, and our defense is playing real well. And the attitude. We've got, so many guys that just totally care about what's going on. There's totally committed to what we're doing here at Northwestern.
You're a native South Sider. You stayed close to home, and I know you've created quite a Northwestern fan club down on the South Side.
Well, it's been hard. There's a team that we beat earlier in the season that's pretty entrenched down there, and yeah, I've raised some eyebrows. I think as a team we've raised some eyebrows nationwide, especially down there at home. It gives me a few bragging rights right now.
I would think so. What's it like blocking for a back like Darnell Autry?
It's a pleasure. Anytime that you can open up the slightest hole and have somebody blow through there like Darnell does, it makes me look a lot better. I'm really not that good a blocker. It's just Darnell's done such a good job for us.
You're being much too modest on that note. As you look towards the future now, and as your college career, not right away, but starts to wind down to a close, what are your plans for the future?
Well, I'm not sure right now. Eventually I'm going to have to get a job, and that's one of the reasons why I came to Northwestern. This degree here is going to provide me with a lot of opportunities out there in the Chicagoland workforce. One
of your former teammates, Matt O'Dwyer, is in his rookie season now with the New York Jets. He was a second-round pick. Do you stay in close touch with him?
I talk to Matt every once in a while. Matt gives us a call, and he's just upset that he can't be a part of what's going on here now.
Well, things are great right now, and good luck on Saturday against Wisconsin.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Rob Johnson, the Wildcats senior center. Another big reason for the Wildcats' success here in 1995 is the defense.
As he throws to a tight end, Paul Credible. Sauter racked up at the 30. Sacked by Matt Rice.
Our style of play is we all just fly around and make plays. That's what we're trying to do. Get to the ball, have a party at the ball.
Everyone wants to make plays. Everyone wants to hit. We're flying around like a bunch of piranhas on a dead fish.
Greasy hit as he throws. It is intercepted by Bennett.
We just play an aggressive defense. We come after the team, and we just make sure that what we do before the game is just know what is about to happen. Focus and concentrate. When we get out there in the field, we know what is about to happen in certain situations.
Right in the middle of a game, they'll come up to me and say, Coach, this is what we're getting. Eric Collier's interception at Michigan was a result of Eric and Will Bennett, the free safety, saying, Coach, they've adjusted their game plan when they're going to trips. They're giving us this. We need to check slide on that, and I can get that.
The Wildcats defense has shut down its opponents in the fourth quarter, allowing just 3 points in the last 4 games. The mastermind behind this revitalized defense is coordinator Ron Vanderlinden.
He's a tremendous X's and O's coach. He knows, he knows who he's got and where to put him, and it's our job to study the film and know where we should be on every play.
Well, he really is a good schemer. He really figures out how to get us to the ball, and he's not a wild, crazy guy. He's actually pretty laid back, but he knows how to get you going, and he does a good job of it.
This was Rice, Matt Rice.
Right, I'm the calm influence in their lives. What's really impressed me about our defense this year in particular is their maturity. And I was just commenting to someone that, during the course of a game, because of the continuity, we've got a lot of older players and we've been in the same system for 4 years, they not only understand our defense, but they understand the problems and the solutions.
A key element to the Cats' success this season has been their work in the turnover department with more than a 2-to-1 advantage over the opposition.
We spend time in practice each day working on turnovers, stripping the ball.
Here on the pitch for the first time, and a fumble. Northwestern's got a chance, and they've got the ball.
We constantly talk ball hawk, and I think we've recruited now where we have some active, quick, aggressive players.
It's coming on Greasy, and it gets home. The ball is loose, and Northwestern has covered it.
Dave Eanet he's an offensive nightmare. I mean, they see him on the corner, and they must really get scared.
Turnovers, just stripping the ball, going for interceptions, and tip balls all contribute to a good defense.
With 3 more takeaways by the defense in the victory over Minnesota, Northwestern is now plus 10 in turnover margin, 5th in the nation. Coming up next, we'll take a look ahead to Saturday's game with Wisconsin on the Gary Barnett Show.
Offensively, Darrell Bevel's an incredible quarterback. He's been around about as long as I have. He's experienced and he can pick apart the best secondaries. Defensively, their front seven is as good as anybody in the country. We're going to have a hard time establishing our running game. We're going to have to come out and be physical with them.
You're looking at the Allen Center on Northwestern's Evanston campus. We're coming to you from behind the Norris University Center, the student union. And this campus is going to be hopping on Saturday with the Wisconsin Badgers in town for homecoming. Gary, this Wisconsin team has played a tough schedule, as you have. They went into Happy Valley and beat Penn State.
Penn State, they had Ohio State down in the fourth quarter, and Coach Alvarez said this summer at the Big Ten meetings that this may be the most talented team he's had. It's a little young and it's just starting to mature, and he's right. That's the way our coaches see it. The way I see it is this is a very, very talented team. Their defensive front seven is really, really good. Their offense is just coming together. They've had to replace some offensive linemen, but they are skilled, and as skilled as anybody we're going to play all year. And this has become a pretty big rivalry for our program and the Wisconsin program. So it's going to be a heated battle.
What are the keys, as far as you're concerned, to winning this game?
Well, Carl McCullough, their big tailback, is a great player, but the guy that you got to stop is Bevel, the quarterback, and he's 25 years old, and he's seen it all, and he's been a 4-year starter in this league, and so it's really a big concern as to how much pressure you can put on him and still defend him, because he's so good and he's seen everything, and so we've got some real challenges for our defense, and then our offense has just got to be more consistent than it's been.
Well, good luck on Saturday. Congratulations on the victory over Minnesota.
Thanks, Dave.
And that'll do it for this week's edition of the Gary Barnett Show. For the coach, I'm Dave Eanet. We'll see you again next week.
Hey, Dave, I got to run. Thanks for doing the show, man.
Okay, Coach. Hey, where are you going with the groceries?
Dave, these aren't groceries. I got to deliver these to the Wildcat Wives Charities Canned Food Drive, which is going on this weekend versus Wisconsin. And you can bring any non-perishable out. Like I've got some Matt wild rice and some Don Holmes cooking. So anything in a can you can bring by and really helps the Northwestern Settlement House.
And I'll see if I can pick up a few sacks.
Just don't pull any food out of your, Dave.